Hey guys, we're back with DRG, Diecast, Rendezvous Group channel here on YouTube. And I wanted to bring up a model that I haven't had in a while. This particular model has some symbolic meaning to me. It makes me think about the early days of model collecting, back in the 1990s. So I want to talk about that just a little bit. So stay tuned. And don't you go nowhere, because we'll be back. DRG with Aaron Truth.
You can get the gang, 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 get the gang. You can get the gang, get the gang, get the gang.
So yeah, this particular model has a symbolic meaning to me. I mean, I had to, what I did, I went around and shopped around on eBay for some of the best prices. The ranges, they can range anywhere from as low as the cheapest $40 if you find it on an auction, to as much as $130 for a copy. And that is the 1995 Ferrari 550 Maranello. So this car right here, this is done by UT. If I can bring the camera down. Sorry about that. Can you see the model? You guys can see my. Hope you can. Okay, so this particular model, this thing, I mean, it wasn't even that expensive, back then, back in, the 1990s. I think it was 98, 97, when this did come out as a model. I mean, you're going back, 20 years. You're talking, your memory may not be so good as to even what the particulars that were going on at that time. In your life, what you bought and when it was available. So anyway, but around about then, I think 97, I believe. My best guess probably be 97 is when I got it. We didn't have. I would get catalogs, and it's this company called AUTOart. They would send out catalogs. They would have these catalogs you could order in the back of the car magazines in the classified section. And I ordered one of the magazines. I think they did have a website. Yeah, they did. They did have a website. They had a store in New York City, and there you could actually go there. You see, by 1998, I wasn't in New York, and I was in Maryland. So in 2000, I had became a stockbroker. I was working in Long Island, New York, which is where I live right now, and also in the city as well. So sometimes I would go on my lunch break and I'd go down to the store, Exotic Car, and look at some of the cars in person, because even today, you don't really get a chance unless you live in a city maybe you live in Florida, if you live in some like Los Angeles. LA has a lot of stores that carry the higher line models. Other than that, you're left to basically pictures on the internet to get an idea of what the car is like. You don't really get to really appreciate it until it's in front of you. You get to see it in person. So this particular car was made by a company back then. You had Bburago, you had Maisto, and there was a company that came out called UT Models, and this is the box that it came in, right? Okay, UT Models was basically the step up. It was a step up from your Bburagos that were $20, $25, and your Maistos that were around the same price. They produced massive amounts of die-cast models. The first one I believe I had was a 288 GTO, and then I got the Ferrari Testarossa, and then it went to the Dodge Viper GTS. That was 1996, and also the 92 RT10. So, some of them, a lot of us the guys that are my age 42, around that age, we remember when we were younger, we would save up that lunch money, or we would sell, you would go cut a grass or something. We would use that $20, $30 that we had with the allowance or whatever. We would use that to go and buy ourselves a model. So this particular this one I remember I had it for about 2 years. I had gotten married young at age 22, and I got this car. And I remember I was moving in a new place with my wife at the time. We're not divorced, but my wife at the time, I had a red one that was like this, and this car came in two. You had the older version, the newer version. That was the older version that I had. The older version did not have the turning wheels like as this one does, and it did not have the brake calipers. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys pictures later, as I always do. But it did not have the brake calipers, and it was mostly red. They mainly made red on tan. So, and I remember specifically, she was taking a crate out, and the crate, went in this mirror was sticking through one of the holes, and I told her, so, oh no, don't take the crate out that way. Turn it around or lift it up or something. I said, lift it up. She said, no, I got it. She slides it out, out the car, and snapped the mirror off. And I wasn't happy. Man, I was 22. Not to get this unit, I was pissed. Let's just, to say the least, I was quite pissed. So, but anyway, I thought about, said, man, I'm gonna have to, replace this. At the time, I think the model was like $48, and I didn't have much. I was just out of college, whatever. So, well, time moved on. I ended up collecting 40 cars. I ended up getting rid of them. I thought it was just really taking up too much of my life again. That car addiction, and I did quite the foolish thing, was just throw them away. I didn't sell them, didn't give away. I just trashed them all into a trash bag, and that was outrageous. But that was just taking it to the extreme. I ended up collecting 40 again, but that time by the second marriage, I had I sold them, and man, some of the cars like the Dodge, the Lamborghini Diablo Roadster, and some of those other ones went for a lot of money later on. But back then I was letting them go 40, 50 a pop. I don't know, whatever. So that's a whole nother story. So, but all right. So here we have it. This car is basically, I have to say, I'm using a particular. I turned the light out, and I'm using one light source here. I wanted some of the background here to show. 550 Maranello, not even really in the shot, but. I remember just thinking about, when I first started out, the very first diecast car that I had was a Dukes of Hazzard. Dukes of Hazzard, the Dodge Charger, that car was just so beautiful, man. Like, everything about it, the wheels, the window, and the shape of the back, and those things on the hood. Everything about that car, was completely my favorite. I just thought it was so beautiful. I moved out of that niche after playing Need for Speed. I got a little more familiar with some of the Lambos, the Ferraris, and 512 TR, the Porsche Carrera Porsche Carrera. It was at the time, and it was the C4 Corvette. We drove those in the 3DO games. We drove those, on our systems back then. It was just like it was crazy because it had the dashboard, and you go 200 miles an hour. It really felt like you was going 200 miles an hour down the highway, dodging cars and all that stuff. That really got me, and especially the videos it did. The way Road and Track magazine did Need for Speed back then. Man, it had some attitude. It was hot. It was nice. So that got me into Ferrari, and in the 1990s, and I began to collect some of the magazines. I think I still had the magazine, Ferrari Frenzy Road and Track. If I remember, it's in storage. I think I still have that magazine, and it had the cover of the Ferrari F50 doing a burnout, with the road, the asphalt underneath was red, so that car was red, and it was like a certain kind of red that didn't clash, but it was a good for the picture, like a red like my shirt on the ground, and it was so bad. I had also inside it had a shot. It had the F50, the 456 GT or GTA, the 550 Maranello, and the Ferrari 355. So what I would like to do, I hope, now GT Spirit is making a 112 scale 355 right now, which I am going to get that next month. I don't know, in the 112 scale, I think is it Top Marquez? I think is making a 118 scale, where the engine will come off. You'll be able to see the engine, and GT Spirit is making the 112 size. I think that's how it goes. And then they're doing the 112 F40, and they're making a 1.8. I don't care. A 1.8, I'm not gonna. What am I gonna do with a 1.8? It's too big. So, but anyway, this car, I mean, has a lovely interior. This is the later version of the UT models, which most of them did come in silver, and they had nicer wheels, the wheels that didn't melt, and it had basically just a better. It was a better, overall model. I think there's some pictures of this overall model. So yeah, and that's that. So I'm gonna wrap this up right here. I'll show you guys a picture, get to listen to some music, sit back, chill. All right, so I'll see you guys next time on DRG with Aaron Truth. Peace.